Hello everyone, and welcome to the webinar Enhance Your Ansys LS-DYNA Workflow with Oasys D3PLOT, Streamlined Post-Processing and Advanced Visualization. My name is Venkat Krishna, and I'm a software developer in the Oasys LS-DYNA team. Please note that this webinar will be recorded and made available on our website and YouTube channel after the session. If you're joining me live, you will notice that you're muted. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type them here, and we will do our best to answer them towards the end of the session. If you are watching this on YouTube, please post your questions in the comment section below or contact your local Oasys distributor using the contact details provided at the end of the presentation. The objective of today's webinar is to demonstrate the various contour plotting features that will help you with visualizing data on top of models in Oasys D3PLOT. We will cover features that will help you compare contour plots for any data component across multiple models and multiple windows. New functionality available when contour plotting with user-defined contour levels. Visualization of multiple data components simultaneously on a single contour plot. Automatic transparency. Plotting data with vector arrows. These features are aimed at all CAE engineers using LS-DYNA. So before starting, I would like to give a brief introduction to Oasys D3PLOT. Oasys D3PLOT is an advanced 3D visualization package for post-processing Ansys LS-DYNA analysis results. It allows users to animate analysis results and to extract or derive over 100 data components from LS-DYNA output. The visualization is achieved with advanced graphics, including control over shading, contouring, lighting, and transparency. It supports multiple models and is heavily integrated with other Oasys LS-DYNA software such as Primer, THIS, and Reporter, resulting in unrivaled ease for in-depth analysis, investigation, comparison, and reporting of simulations. The complementary D3plot viewer and report viewer bring your LS-DYNA analysis to a wider audience with easy access for teams, suppliers, and clients. The focus of today's webinar is the contour plotting capabilities of D3plot. To start off, let's look at contour plots across multiple windows. We're going to look at a few iterations of a suspension load case. In this analysis, loads are applied to suspension mounts to assess the strength of the body structure. The results shown in the webinar are purely for demonstration and do not represent an actual physical system. Let's plot yield utilization percentage by selecting it from the data menu. Yield utilization percentage is generally of interest in suspension load case analysis. We can change the number of contour levels by using the level slider here under the data menu. We won't necessarily find the maximum yield utilization in the middle layer of the integration points. So let's change the integration points option to max all or mag all. Click on the SI button to update the contour plots. Clicking on the play button, we observe that the values and limits on the contour legend initially change as D3plot scans through the result states, but later settle to reveal the max and min values across all the frames in each window. This allows us to compare max and min values across various iterations of the analysis and makes it easy to spot any differences between them. We might also want to plot contours with the same max-min values across all the different windows within the session. We can change the contour mode to Auto All Windows mode here in the data menu, which allows us to do just that. Now clicking on the play button or using the other animation controls, we see common max-min values across all the frames and all the windows. This mode makes it easy to compare multiple results as it automatically updates contour legend and the associated contour plot when there is a change to plot state or a data component. To see this, change the data component to yield utilization factor by selecting it in the data menu. When we click on any of the animation buttons, we see that the contour plot quickly changes and updates to show the common max-min values across all the windows. Let's change the data component back to yield utilization percentage. You can also change the max-min values to a specific value of your interest. This can be done by selecting max plus min mode and typing the value into the available fields. We will now change the maximum value and click on refresh to update the graphics. D3plot also allows you to change the intermediate contour levels. When in user-defined contour mode, we can manually define any of the contour levels and directly insert or delete levels using this pop-up. Let's define some intermediate values of interest. We can define some or all of the intermediate values. D3plot uses linear interpolation to calculate any intermediate values that we haven't defined prior to updating the contour plot. We can change the interpolation from linear to logarithmic here under the data menu. Click on the refresh to update the graphics. Next, let's explore the automatic transparency in contour plots. The results of this next analysis show full frontal impact. Let's look at von Mises stress plot by selecting von Mises stress as the data component in the data menu. Click on the cut section button in the tools menu to open cut sections menu. Change the positive action to omit and negative action to normal for direction D1. Activate the second cut direction D2 via the tick box here. Change the positive action to omit and negative action to normal for D2 as well. Now change the multi-cut plane interaction from union to intersection. Turn on the cutting switch. This will reduce the region of interest to front quarter portion of the model. Click on SI to generate the contour plot. You'll observe that the maximum stress location is obscured by other parts of the model. We can isolate the max stress elements by clicking on the max stress contour band here in the contour legend. But this does not show the maximum stress location in relation to the entire model. D3plot offers a solution to this with auto transparency. To activate auto transparency, click on auto transparency button here in the data menu and activate auto transparency via the tick box here. Activating auto transparency automatically sets the transparency of entities based on the data values. In complex plots or when parts are hidden, it is often difficult to locate maximum and minimum values as they are hidden behind other entities. Although entities can be blanked to reveal these hidden parts, this is sometimes unsatisfactory as a solution. By varying the transparency of entities, it is possible to view these minimum and maximum values while still having the entire model visible within the graphics window. Automatic transparency could be used in automotive front impact analysis as shown, where you might also want to plot forces in beam elements, and to use auto transparency to reveal load paths through the structure. Using the previous analysis, let's explore simultaneous plotting of multiple data components. Let's look at spot weld force under Scalar 1 tab by selecting it in the data menu. Click on SI to generate the contour plot. Let's plot a second data component alongside spot weld force. In the data menu, go to Scalar 2 tab and change the data component to plastic strain. Activate Scalar 2 via this tick box. To plot both spot weld force and plastic strain simultaneously within the same graphics window. Click on refresh to update the graphics. This is possible because we are plotting different data components for different entities within the model. Under the Scalar 1 and Scalar 2 options, we can see that the spot weld force is plotted for spot weld elements and plastic strain is plotted for the rest. Note that it would not be possible to plot multiple data components onto the same entities simultaneously. Visualizing two data components in a single contour plot gives us a better understanding for the location of maximum and minimum contour values and the interaction between different data types. In this case, we can move the model around and locate spot welds with large force values and plastic strain associated with the welds. Next, let's explore vector plots. Let's plot principal stress max and min by selecting principal stress max and min as the data component in the data menu. Clicking on PR gives us a vector plot of principal stress. This plot shows both maximum and minimum principal stress for the elements. Let's isolate a part of the bumper of the car. Change the pick menu operation from blanking to only. Let's select the bumper part. The arrows reveal the load paths through the structure. We might want to change the arrow properties. This can be done using the options in the Principal Plots tab under the Contour options. We can change the length of the arrows to make the image clear. This concludes the features we are going to cover today. In summary, Oasys D3PLOT allows you to easily compare multiple analysis results across multiple windows. Lets you plot multiple data components simultaneously onto different entities within the same window. Enables you to locate maximum and minimum values that can be hidden within complex models by using automatic transparency. Allows you to make use of overlaying vector arrows onto models for certain data components. Provides you with greater control over the presentation of data on contour plots. You can keep up to date with Oasys LS-DYNA news by signing up to our newsletter, by visiting our website, by following our LinkedIn page, and by subscribing to our YouTube channel, where we have an archive of useful videos. Thank you for your time and attention today. I hope you have enjoyed the presentation. Please get in touch if you have any questions.
Hi everyone, hopefully that pre-recorded webinar was useful in demonstrating some of the tools and methodologies which can be implemented in D3Plot to gain insight from your models. Maybe you've learned a few new things as well that you might not have known before today. We have time, if anyone wants to type in some questions into the webinar browser, then we can answer those. We've got a couple of questions already, so I will answer those. And the first question: is it possible for me to plot my own calculated data values as contours onto the elements of the model? The answer is yes. D3Plot has a user data menu, which allows you to calculate your own data components, either by typing an equation, linking to a JavaScript, or by reading in your own entity assigned data values from an external file. And then once you've created this user data value, that can be selected from the list of data components in the usual way to plot it into the graphics window of D3Plot. So that's something that can be very useful. So another question: how do I plot contours on only some of the parts in my model? Again, this is quite straightforward with D3Plot. To implement contours on only a subset of the parts within a model, when you've got the contours displayed in the graphics window, you can right click on one or multiple of the parts on the screen, and you can use the display mode option that you access via right clicking, and for those parts you can select shaded. So this will turn off the contours for some specific parts, leaving you with a mixture of parts that contain contours and parts that do not. And to distinguish between the two, you can manually change the color and transparency of some of the parts as well. So then it's very clear which parts are shaded and which parts contain contours, and that can be good for focusing your attention and insight on certain parts of the model. So there's a couple of good questions there. Do we have any other questions? Just give another minute perhaps if anyone wants to type in a question. And of course, if you go to our website or our YouTube channel, there's a lot more information and tutorials and videos about using D3Plot for post-processing. So make use of the search functionality there to find more tips and tricks. And of course, you can also email us if you want to have any of your specific questions answered. We can help with that. So perhaps what I can do is hand back to Krishna to wrap up the webinar and to thank you all for joining.
Thank you very much for joining today.